time, in fact, on the second day of the second month of the 2021st year. That's a lot of twos with a one and a zero. Hi. Um, Welcome. I got it right this time. I think I got it right this time. I'm actually going to go check on my other screen. And apparently, there I am. Look at that. I have two screens going because, you know, that's what everybody does, apparently. I mean, my laptop's normally for just streaming porn. So, well, might as well put it to good use. Um, Hello. I don't know if anybody is here. Um, I might be talking to myself, but maybe the going live thing the notification went live. Anyway, hi. Oh, I have three viewers. There you go. Hello, hello. Thank you for dropping by. Welcome to stream two, and in the efforts to keep things kind of old school or geriatric or going back to a long bygone age, I'm trying to do different types of shows. Probably all going to end up being the same fucking show because let's face it, one trick pony here. But this one is I'm going to tackle some of the news that's broken over the weekend, over the last couple of days, add a couple of other bits and bobs, and see how it goes. Yeah, because obviously I understand that I have to do certain things so that I can get to affiliate status, and affiliate status lets me do other things apparently. Um, so yeah, I want to be able to. Hello, Annalie. Oh my God, one of my longest ever supporters from 15 odd years ago, maybe. Sub level 28, absolutely rocks. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna, I want to try and make this Twitch page fun, interactive, and all the other things. It won't look super pretty for a while unless anybody wants to give me some advice on how to make it pretty. That's other streamers and stuff like that as well, because hey, I have the artistic skill of a wet lettuce. But anyway, today, good news. If you watched the last stream, you would notice that at about the 40-minute mark, my throat started to go. I was coughing a lot. So today's stream is brought to you by Big Fuck Off Bag of Throat Lozenges. Also, not one, but two bottles of Pellegrino and another mug of Earl Grey tea. Plain mug today. No branding, no Doctor Who mug today. It's in the washing machine. So, yes, thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. First of all, let me click onto my schedule because, again, like a professional, I wrote up a schedule that's basically bullet points of like half a dozen things that I want to talk about and then fuck all off. All right. So, Google Stadia. I don't know. Oh, apparently I can manage my. I don't know if you can see this shit. I can manage my channel directly from my phone. I don't really want to because I'm managing my channel now while I'm talking to you guys. Anyway, let's talk about Google Stadia. How do you pronounce it? Is it Stadia? Stadia? Stadia. Anyway, they had a rough day yesterday. They shut down their internal dev studios that are um, based in San Francisco. I think San Francisco and LA, or uh, Montreal and LA. Anyway, I know one's local. And I've just rearranged again so that I can look at the camera and not just look at myself, because the temptation is to look at oneself when you've got the big screen going. So anyway, I'm going to try and look at you guys because you're wonderful, lovely, beautiful, sexy people. So yes, Google shut down its internal dev teams. 150 people out of work in the middle of the worst pandemic for 100 years, borderline recession, and obviously it's really bad news for those guys. And I did tweet this out yesterday, and I really hope that these people who have, as is the case when you get a job like this, you move to where the job is, and I'm sure a lot of these people uprooted their lives from wherever they were around the country, hey, around the world, and moved to work at these studios. Obviously, they won't have been in studio in the past year or so because of COVID-19, but they've uprooted and are now out of work at a horrible time. So I really hope that Google took care of them because let's face it, Google's not exactly hurting. Google got some money. We know that. It was headed by Jade Raymond, who has obviously she'll land on her feet. She's got a very high profile. She's very talented. Um, yeah, my mic is very low. Is it? Oh, hang on. Let me just tweak this around. See, I do look down every now. There you go. Look at this. There you go. Is that better? I love this level of interactivity. It's so fantastic. People get to tell me if shit isn't working, and I, like the sucker I am, respond. Well, that's the funny thing. When I set the mic up on the audio mixer, it said I shouldn't go too high. Well, there you go. I just tweaked it a little. What do I know? All right, apparently I'm good. Validation, that's all I need. Anyway, back to Google Stadia. Yeah, Jade Raymond will fall on her feet. She will do well. She's got a high profile. She's got a good track record. Um, why? Why? Why Google Stadia? I mean, did nobody remember On Live? On Live had all this money, had a great marketing push. I've still got, I think, 2 On Live boxes because they were sending them out to everybody. And obviously, I know the Google has a better infrastructure allegedly than online, than On Live, and they're a much bigger company. They've got more money. Um, but the streaming of games, I mean, this might be old man. This might be pure old man, but I really don't fucking get this whole streaming, connecting to the internet to play a game on that it's not physically in front of you. It's not running off your disk. It's not running off your hard drive. Old man, I just don't get it. I mean, look, I don't get people streaming games for a living, and I'm doing this show now on Twitch. I mean, the world's gone crazy. It's gone absolutely fucking insane. I just, when this came out, I couldn't see the sense in it. Some people bought onto it. And Google are saying that they are going to keep going with it, but not develop anything internally. Yeah, that don't make any sense. I mean, so basically, you're just putting a box out there with no. Can you imagine Nintendo, Microsoft, or Sony doing that? Here's the new PlayStation 6, and guess what? It's just going to exist on the generosity of third party because we're not going to do any original content to drive people to it. Yes, as Matt Keels has said on Game Face a few times, Matt Keel is obviously on Game Face on Sifted. Follow Sifted. So, I'll tell you what that I had a nice chat with Shane yesterday. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yes, Stadia is a solution. It's actually the solution to a problem nobody had. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants the problem. Nobody bought Stadia. It's a ridiculous waste of money. But why is it that the likes of Google and Amazon, with all their money and all their tech expertise, can't crack the game space? It's not just Google, it's Amazon too. Amazon have had numerous misfires with regards to their attempts to crack into the game space. I mean, Amazon, they own Twitch, and it's, Amazon Prime Gaming is, whatever it is on where you get the tie-in and blah, blah, blah. I just don't know why. Well, actually, I do know why. You know why Google failed? They appoint the wrong people. And I'm not talking about Jade Raymond here. I'm looking at one person in particular. Ironically, he came up in a conversation I had with Shane yesterday, Shane Satterfield. And it's Phil Harrison. And Shane said, has anybody in this industry more spectacularly failed up than Phil Harrison? The guy was awful at Sony. The guy was awful at Xbox. And then he lands at somewhere like Google. And that's a failure too. And the industry's full of these people at the upper management levels. There's so many of these people. How do they manage to get these positions? Who hires them? I mean, what sort of high up brain fart does one have to look at somebody and say, all right, Phil Harrison, I'm going to Google him. All right, he was at Sony. Didn't do very well there, did he? Microsoft, Xbox. Oh, okay. Sony's doing well, though, after he left. Microsoft's doing well after he left. Let's put him in charge of Stadia. What is what's wrong with people? I mean, there are so many great people in this industry, so many talented people who can provide direction, who can provide leadership and have a profile out there. I mean, Peter Moore's just come back into games, and he's off to, I think, Amazon. So they now have a chance, in my opinion, because Peter Moore, he's been there, he's done it. Xbox, EA Sports. It's no coincidence that my love for Peter Moore also is amplified by the fact that up until recently he was the chief executive officer of Liverpool FC, oversaw European Cup win, World Club Championship, European Super Cup, and our first Premier League title, our first top table title in 30 years. So yes, he's a god as far as I'm concerned. But he also knows games. I mean, he's a Liverpool man through and through. He loves his team. He knows his sports, and now he's gone to Amazon, I believe, to work on their sports stuff. So that'll be interesting. Amazon have got a lot of money to throw around. They have sports licenses for things like the Premier League, and I think in the UK they're streaming a lot of that stuff. They've got football around the world. They've got various sports that they can dip into, and if they can tie some of that stuff into interactive game-based content, it's going to be interesting. Do I think that they are going to make platinum AAA titles for Xbox, PS5, Switch, PC? I don't. I think they will probably go more the mobile app based route that plug into the phones, plug into iPads, plug into the Amazon Echoes and Alexas systems that are all over the place, including. Oh, I've got one over there. In fact, we've got one in every room in this house. Not everyone has a camera though, but yes, it's very useful. Turns lights on and off and makes me play, listens to my music and shit. Anyway, yeah. So this has always been my bugbear with the games industry. Obviously, I digress because I tend to do that with Peter Moore, but the likes of Phil Harrison, he might be the nicest guy on the planet. I've never met him in person, and I'm sorry, mate. You know, in the unlikely event this comes to your attention, I don't mean to kick a guy when he's down, but your track record's not exactly stellar. I mean, it's like somebody looking for a stable person to present a show and coming to see me. Not exactly the smartest choice ever. But yeah, I don't understand how people who fail consistently get promoted. When I was in PR, there were more than a few like that. People who were adept at the ass kissing, could talk the marketing speak, who basically did fuck all and got promoted, while other people busted ass. And because those other people were a little bit more passionate, a little bit more, shall we say, less political, rather. And I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about a couple of other people I worked with who got hosed over and over. They got passed over. Thankfully, a lot of those people, things have been righted a lot. A lot of those people have gone on to really much bigger and better things. And the shite has been slowly wheedled out of the games industry. But it's disappointing to still see it happening. If you were starting up a console, streaming console for a start, that and you said to me, who would you hire? Phil Harrison would not be top of the list. I don't know who would be, but I would definitely say, well, if you're going to do something like Stadia, it has to launch at the right time. You don't want to get swarmed with a bunch of, get buried by Xbox and PlayStation's launches. You don't want to launch without some original content. I mean, it's great that, oh yes, you can connect and this, that, and the other, but broadband, especially in America, is still not 100% amazing. It's still not absolutely everywhere. there are certain areas. I mean, look, when we're beholden to likes of Comcast and AT&T, who are two of the shittiest companies on the planet, for wireless infrastructure, for broadband infrastructure. There's no way that a purely streaming box is going to actually work right off the bat. Me, I'm with Spectrum over here in Southern California, and I'm paying through the nose for a decent pipe coming into the house. It's a business account, business level pipe, and it does what it needs to do. But yeah, so let's go back to Stadia. What would you do? I'd launch with some games. Let's have some exclusive content. Let's, if we, either we develop it in house or we go shopping because Google's got money, and we'll say, all right, I think we'll have that and we'll have that. Oh, Bethesda, would you like to do an exclusive deal for this particular game? It can still come out on PC and Xbox and everything a little bit later. We'll give you some money to do this. Or really cool bunch of indie dev teams. We're going to give you some money. We want you to create this stuff, this, and this. So when we ship, when we launch, when we get that box out, I mean, I didn't even realize Stadia had launched for the longest time. Somebody said, oh, it's out. I'm like, okay. Oh, they're looking for people to test stuff. What stuff? Stuff that never came out. It's funny, I'm watching the viewer thing go up and down. It went up to 16, and then 2 people thought, fuck off, I'm not watching this. And I don't blame you. So yes, they just got it wrong. They could, and it's easy with hindsight, blah, 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 but it's also common sense. Games 101. Anybody who's worked in the games industry and is not Phil Harrison would be able to tell you that you launch with games, you launch with partnerships, you launch with a bunch of stuff, and you do it when you've got some free and clear space, and you do it away from the new super consoles that were coming out. You do it away from any other big release, and you've got to have some meat behind your system, and you don't. So yes, that's very sad. Like I said, very sad for the people who were working on stuff. I mean, I would love to have seen what they were working on. And maybe the leadership at the studio level was not good. I don't know Jade Raymond personally, but she's moved on from a couple of different projects now, and maybe she was not given the leeway she needed, or maybe she was not giving the leadership that was needed. But we'll never know until somebody breaks an NDA and comes out and talks about it. Okay, so look at the messages. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Sony and Microsoft, they're not going to, they don't want to remove the disk drives. Disk drives are expensive, the hard disk drives, but you need them. The fact that we can go without CD-ROM drives now, or Blu-ray drives, that's great. Hasn't brought the cost of the machines down much, but there you go. Yeah, so, all right, pause for a sec. What am I looking at next? Ooh, did you see the Mass Effect Remastered trailer? See, this is where, if I had any skills whatsoever, I'd have a way to have this trailer queued up, and I'd hit a button and I'd say, just watch this. Because this is the Mass Effect Remastered, the trilogy. The trilogy's coming back this May. All 3 games. And they've up-res them to 400k Mega HD resolution and shiny poop levels. No, it looks great. It really does. They've up-resed it. And the good news is that, for me, is that the weakest one of the bunch is always the first Mass Effect. Mass Effect 2, my unabashed absolute favorite. It hit the sweet spot with regards to action, RPG elements, great story, characters. Everything was just perfect, in my opinion. Mass Effect 3, a little bit less. Obviously, they tweaked that ending because, let's face it, the ending was bad. You don't create a game and say, this is the final part of the trilogy. All the decisions that you have made all the way through will come to fruition at the end of this game, and then we're going to give you this shitty ending. That has nothing to do with all the decisions you made all the way through, because they're absolutely for nothing. So yeah, I mean, 2 and 3, 2 fantastic, 3 great, 1 always was a tough one to get through for me. So the news that they've been tweaking it, they've been tweaking the weapons, they've been playing with the bringing a lot of the features from 2 and 3 into 1 makes sense, because when you play the whole trilogy, you want some form of uniformity with regards to the controls and with how the weapons work and AI and various other things. So that is great. It looks gorgeous. Really looking forward to seeing what they've done with regards to the upgrades and the play balancing. This is the thing that kind of blew my mind. What as the trailer was scrolling through, it said all 3 games, all 40 DLCs. I never realized that there were 40 across 3 games. I mean, that's what 13 and a bit DLCs per game, and that was pre-digital, really. I mean, Xbox Live and all these other systems, nobody was downloading the games as much then. Everybody was buying on physical, and admittedly, downloadable content was coming, more digital. I suppose it wasn't coming on disc, but shit, that's a lot of content. This is coming in May, so I'm going to take May off because obviously I'm going to buy it. I'm actually going to buy it for the PC, even though I have all 3 on Xbox. Um, Xbox 360, that is. But I'm going to buy it on PC. I'm going to take the month off. You may never see me again. I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to create a FemShap because that game just seems to play better for me with a FemShap. I just love the voice actor. I just love everything about it. Anyway, that's me. Um, I'm worried about the price. I mean, I really hope that they come in with a smart price of no more than $40. I know it's 3 games. I know it's 3 games remastered with all that DLC. Um, but you can't really. I mean, it's games that the last decent Mass Effect 3 came out what 7 years ago, 6 years ago. Somebody's probably going to Google it. But yeah, I don't think you could charge a shit ton of money. Oh, 2012. Thank you, Game Fury 79. You're a fountain of useful information today. Um, yeah, so we're talking 9 years since the last one. Don't push it to $50. Don't push it to $60. Just get it out for $40 and everybody be happy. I'll be happy. I'll plunk my money down. So yes, I would definitely say take a look at that new trailer. And if you've never experienced Mass Effect, which let's face it, there's a whole generation who plinking away at Fortnite and Mario and lots of other fun things, Super Smash Brothers, and all the other various games that people are playing that haven't really experienced a really good Mass Effect game because Andromeda came out and Andromeda stank. Oh, I remember I bought Andromeda and Mad Max at the same time for my PlayStation, for my PS4. I've never been more disappointed with 2 game purchases at the same time. I mean, I normally have a good track record when it comes to, buying games. But holy shit, those 2 stunk. Andromeda was bad. Mad Max was just awful. And it's ironic that Mad Max is done by the team that's done Rage 2 for Bethesda. Because Rage 2 is actually a bunch of fun, but Mad Max, ooh, no. Anyway, all right. So yes, Mass Effect, check it out. 15 viewers. Hello, extra viewer who came in. How are you? Don't expect anything sensible. Don't expect anything professional here. Don't expect production values. Just look at my canine poster and drool. All right. Hades. Ooh, Hades. Now, I'm a bit late to the party on this one. So, bit of a backstory. Shane Satterfield, Sifted, X Game Trailers. He's launching a new podcast called 3 Night Weekend. And he very kindly asked me to be the first guest. I still maintain this because everybody else said no. But he does have some really good people coming up. And one of the things that we talked about was Hades, and this was actually offline while we were we had our conversation, and he asked what we were playing and blah blah blah, and he actually said I should try out Hades. Now I'm a big fan of Supergiant games. I thought Bastion was fantastic. Transistor, it was good, not really 100% my cup of tea. And then I skipped the next game because I wasn't really in a game space at the time. I don't think I played much games at all. This was before the nice PC. But yesterday, I went and downloaded Hades. It's been out for a while. I understand it's on the Switch as well. A lot of people have been raving about it. Now, here's the thing. I like games like Hades where you have um, randomly generated content where it's like Diablo-esque, if you will, or Torchlight or Van Helsing. The maps are the same, but they're different. You get different power-ups. I've never really been a fan of this one life and you're dead and you have to go all the way back to the beginning aspect. It drives me fucking nuts. Um, but 5 hours I think I put into it yesterday. Just going back through, going back through, going back through. I mean, look, I was dying a fair amount because hey, old man, not very good at video games. Get off my lawn. And I'm down to 12 viewers. I'm loving watching this. It's like so alternately depressing and uplifting at the same time. So yes, Hades is so much fun. Love the art style. It does feel like a Supergiant game with regards to the art style. They do this so well with the colors, the textures, the isometric angle, if you will. Writing's great, so many different layers. It's just rewards you for just talking to people as well as kicking ass, trying to figure out what weapon is the best for you. But yeah, I just totally recommend it to anybody. It was $24.99 on Steam. It's probably going to come down on sale at some point, but totally recommend it. Fantastic game. By the way, if you look on the Twitch page, there should be a suggestion box now. Um, if you have suggestions, and please just don't. If you want to suggest something like, "Oh, you should make this page more attractive," yeah, well, thank you for that. Give me some hints. Give me some tips. I am asking for input on how to get this something nice. Oh my god, my viewership is plummeting. I'm down at 13. I haven't picked this time because I thought it would be fun for a bunch of Eurotypes to be able to join in. Ah, well. I mean, let's face it, if I can't get viewers in a pandemic, when can I get viewers? What the hell? Um, anyway, yes, Hades. Fantastic. Suggestion box. I went so off script. I mean, my schedule just went out the window. Um, suggestion box. Give me suggestions on things you want me to talk about. Give me suggestions on things you'd like to see, like why don't you try using this or using that. I am going to tap up some of my friends who have really gorgeous looking streamer pages and do their various shows and everything, and I'm going to hopefully make things a little better over the coming weeks and months, but you're gonna have to stick with me. Okay, what am I going to talk about next? Hitman 3. Hitman 3. All right. So I was very lucky. I got sent a code for Hitman 3 a couple of weeks ago. And I've always been a huge fan of Hitman, the Hitman franchise. Always been one, it's been gorgeous. It's been two, incredibly original and has a level of delightful evilness about it that that just always tickles me. It really does. Um, Windswept Dragon in Scotland. Look, we us Brits, we can always be Euros if we want to be. I am Welsh, British, and European. Fuck Brexit. And I hope Scotland gets some independence. Hope Wales gets an independence so they can rejoin Europe. Fuck this ice. Anyway, right. So Hitman 3. Hitman 2, the last one that came out, I played and I played and I played. And look, I'll be honest with you. It takes me forever to play these games because you would think that somebody with my naturally evil sense of humor and predilection, I play the bad guy in a lot of games, would actually find something like this, take to it like a duck to water. But I gotta say, I really suck at the Hitman games. And yet I love playing them. I love walking around. I love hiding in plain sight. I love trying, getting the different disguises, looking at what weapons I can use, looking at the different options. Excuse me, sorry. And it takes me forever. I mean, if there's a timed mission, I'm fucked. Because Hitman 2, the racetrack, that is always been the standout one for me because it was such a huge space, so beautiful, and there was so much going on that I just walked around exploring. I'd knock somebody out, stuff their body in, take their clothes, explore a new area. And that's what, I'd often forget that I'm actually playing a game where I'm supposed to assassinate somebody. Um, and Hitman 3 has done exactly the same thing. Hitman 3, just the first mission, when you're in the Middle East and you walk into this amazingly opulent um, Saudi Arabian Abu Dhabi skyscraper. I mean, basically, you drop down, you do a Halo parachute jump, and you land on the outside, and then you have to sneak in and change and wander around and look at people. And it's just the conversations and just getting the layout and seeing who the targets are and figuring out how to take them down, and it's just beautiful. And then so I got through that one eventually, and then one of the I just rooted around on the side missions because obviously it doesn't make you do everything in one go. And the side missions, there was a house in Dartmoor in the UK. Like it looked like a Downton Abbey kind of house with servants and everything. You had to take out some of the servants, and there were police wandering around, lots of security, and there was a journalist there, and so on and so forth. And I just got to say that IO Interactive and the Hitman games, with the Hitman games, they've created the longest, most beautiful, guilt-free time suck that I've ever experienced. Um, yeah, so I recommend it because look, it's a sort of game that for me will last me 3 years because it'll take that long to play through it. Because I'll go away, play something, play a bit of it, then go away again, come back, play a bit of it, tackle a mission at a time, then look at the downloadable stuff. But yeah, thoroughly recommend it. Chat room has gone quiet, although I don't know. There's a lot of Euros talking about us. Yes, Skyrim exactly. I mean, it's Skyrim is easier to get into, I think, in general. But um, yeah, Hitman is just it's just too beautiful words. Okay, a little bit off topic. I'm going to step away from games, go back to pop culture. Last time out, I spoke about trailers and pet peeves and blah de blah de blah, and why people who make trailers are shite. Hold on with regards to questions. I'll take questions towards the end. I'm going to have a swig of my water. I am trying dry February. I was going to do dry January, but then the inauguration came by, and I just had to have a crack open a bottle of champagne with the missus and celebrate Joe Biden. So let's talk about Zack Snyder. Now, anybody who's into movies and comic books is obviously aware of Zack Snyder's contribution to the DC cinematic universe. And it's fair that the DC cinematic universe doesn't know its ass from its elbow. It doesn't seem, it wants to be Marvel, but doesn't want to put in the legwork. I mean, you look at the amount of Marvel movies before Avengers came along. They were like, oh, we don't need that. We'll just have we'll have Man of Steel, and then we'll drop Superman and new Batman and Wonder Woman into Dawn of Justice. Then we'll go into Justice League, and we'll entrust this all into Zack Snyder's hands. Zack Snyder should not be let anywhere near comic book movies. He doesn't even like fucking comic book movies. He's said this for the longest time. He said that, in an interview a while ago, and I'm paraphrasing here, that, he wasn't even a fan of Superman. And then to be handed the keys to the proverbial kingdom after, he's made 2 good movies. Well, 1 3/4 of good movies. The 300, great movie for what it was. Exceptionally limited, high visuals, 6 packs of go-go. It ticked a lot of boxes for a lot of people. I watched it once, enjoyed it, never seen it again. Watchmen, love the comic book. I actually really like the extended cut of Watchmen. I think he did a pretty good job there. Not perfect, but pretty good. And so obviously when he was given Man of Steel, I'm like, oh, I'm going to give this a go. This will be interesting. And then I watched Man of Steel, and it was probably Yeah, it was right up there with the suckiness level of Superman Returns that Bryan Singer did with Brandon Routh and Kevin Spacey back in the day. That was a mediocre Superman movie, and so was Man of Steel. Um, it seemed to, it's like, oh, this is a gritty Superman for the new millennium, and this is the way the world needs to see Superman now. And it's like, no, I'm sorry, there are still some things that Superman would not do. Superman would not pick a fight in Smallville and keep in Smallville. He'd fly away to get away from people. The same with the Metropolis fights. They just don't fucking work. He would get the fuck away from those things because collateral damage. Superman's supposed to be this good guy who values all life. And it's just these horror. The movie was just so disappointing. I mean, Zod could have been amazing. I actually thought that the opening part on Krypton with Russell Crowe as the as Superdad. Well, that was really that was lovely stylistically, very well written. Um, very much enjoyed that. It's just once we got into the main meat and bones of it, it was just all over the place. And then we got on to Justice League. And look, we'll talk about Wonder Woman in a minute, but I'm talking about just Zack Snyder for the moment. Then we'll talk about, now we're talking about Justice League, and Justice League was a horrible film. Horrible. So bad, it's bad. And Zack Snyder left just before the end of filming of that because obviously he had a really bad family tragedy, and you don't wish that on anybody. And so they handed off to Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon, whose pop culture credentials are, dare I say it, a little bit stronger than Mr. Snyder's. Let's face it, Firefly, Buffy, Angel, Avengers, Age of Ultron is a movie that actually, when you watch it again in its place in the Marvel lineup, really does get better with age. When I first watched it, I was like, oh, it's kind of underwhelming, but it's actually way better than that first viewing. So I recommend rewatching that. And so Whedon comes in, there's some reshoots, movie comes out, movie's back shit. Whedon takes the blame for this, apparently. Whedon is the one who apparently tried to make it a little bit too gimmicky with some nods and winks and some humor. He actually tried to inject some life into what was a miserable, miserable movie, which is basically half a dozen morose motherfuckers standing around going, Superman's dead. Darkseid's over there. There's a mother box. End of the world. And that was just, yeah, it was just awful. And the fact that Whedon took the blame for it, and I'm not talking about the fallout since with the Ray Fisher thing and Cyborg. I don't think we'll ever know what happened there. And to be honest with you, because Ray Fisher is saying that he got abuse, and is saying a bunch of stuff that he doesn't really want to back up, which is kind of worrying. I wish he would. If you're going to make those accusations and try and ruin people's careers, you really have to come front and center. And if he suffered abuse on the set, that should be definitely looked into, and he should be protected, and he should be applauded for standing up for it. Absolutely. But yeah, obviously, everybody then was like, "Oh, Zack Snyder would have done a better version. Zack Snyder would have done this," and then, of course, HBO Max greenlit the Snyder Cut and the reshoots and the extra $20 million budget, I think, to turn it into a 4-episode miniseries on HBO Max. And going back to the whole failing up thing, Phil Harrison and Zack Snyder, have you ever seen them in the same room? You think about it. I don't think so. I don't think we've ever seen them in the same room. Talk about boys who fail up. I don't know why anybody would put another $20 million in Zack Snyder's hands. They seem to think that he's the Kevin Feige of the DC universe. That's the biggest insult to Kevin Feige. The man knows Kevin Feige has marshaled Marvel into this behemoth powerhouse of interconnected stories like no other universe in the world of fiction. Zack Snyder's just crap. Zack Snyder's petulant child with regards to how he tackles stuff. He just wants to break stuff and try to be cool. He comes from making music videos. Perhaps that's some of it. Um, this is the man who, with Superman v Batman, wasted the Superman v Batman storyline, made Lex Luthor a total brat, and made Doomsday the most powerful villain Superman's ever met. The one character that's actually killed Superman. Made him into this pick and mix fetus, the mix of Lex Luthor and General Zod. And it was just he was just stuck at the end. He was ugly as hell. Didn't even look like, to be honest with you, much like Doomsday in my book. And yeah, Snyder just shut up. And then when Darkseid came in, Darkseid just continued the run of shitty DC Universe movie bad guys. And like I said, I'm not even talking about Wonder Woman yet because that's Patty Jenkins, and I know her stuff has to try and tie into theirs, but into Snyder's, but they don't have an overall idea of what they're doing, so everything's half cocked anyway. And now you've got Patty Jenkins bitching about the Justice League version that Joss Whedon did, and let's be honest, Patty Jenkins, talented filmmaker, yes, I'm sure. Wonder Woman, the first one, fucking mediocre. Let's be honest. Fucking mediocre superhero movie. Why was it mediocre? Useless bad guy again. Banal acting and script. Some great actors. I mean, she cast some great actors, but the script was mediocre. The bad guys were super mediocre in Ares or whoever it was. I can't even fucking remember. But it doesn't match up to even the lowest of the Marvel movies. Yet it got all this plaudits, and everybody's like, woo woo, because it was the first female-led superhero movie. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to lower the bar just because it's a female-led superhero movie. I would want a female-led superhero movie to be absolutely right up there, absolutely top. It's the same as saying, well, if Black Panther had come out and been a bag of shit, but we've got to give it a pass because it's a black-led cast and a black-led director, that would have been unacceptable. Fortunately, in Ryan Coogler and Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther was is one of the best Marvel movies. It's one of the best superhero movies ever. Wasn't the first black superhero lead, of course. That was Blade. Blade 1 and Blade 2, great movies. Blade Trinity, not so much, but you got to give shout out to Wesley Snipes. I mean, he was the first. I am looking forward to the Blade reboot. But yeah, let's talk about Wonder Woman. It was not that great. It was not a great superhero movie. It was a mediocre superhero movie. And then, of course, Wonder Woman 1984 hit on Christmas Day, and I got to watch it with the wife here on HBO Max because we have that subscription. And I got to say, if I'd have gone to the movies and dropped $40 for 2 tickets and another $20 for popcorn and everything, I'd want to punch somebody coming out of that movie. It was about half an hour over long, a waste of some great actors again, and Kristen Wiig. And look, I'm sorry, Kristen Wiig is the female Will Ferrell for me. Really good in Saturday Night Live most of the time. Some of the characters really annoying, but when it comes to actually being in a movie, not that good at all by any stretch of the imagination. Very limited. Will Ferrell's better off as a supporting actor when he's not doing characters. Ditto with Kristen Wiig, deep buried supporting character. Again, really lame ass bad guy. This whole wish thing opens up so many doors. Could you imagine if well, I mean, just the whole idea of Steve Trevor coming back in somebody else's body. That person still being alive, by the way. Just this spirit of Steve Trevor being wedged in, and then Wonder Woman shags him. That's a bit rapey, isn't it? I mean, in the environment that we're in right now, that smacks me of a little bit rapey. Awful film altogether. Shitty ending. Again, dodgy special effects. I mean, waste of 1984. I mean, the 80s were look, and I lived through the 80s. I was a teenager in the 80s. I remember the 80s. The 80s were gloriously kitschy and trashy as fuck. And Wonder Woman 1984 totally wasted that. So yes, that was I just the DC universe, the DC cinematic universe is an absolute mess. Um, Aquaman was quite amusing in spots. That was more down to Jason Momoa than anybody else. The guy has a lot of charisma. The new Batman movie with Twilight Boy, Robert Pattinson, that looks like it might be interesting because it's based on Batman Year Two, I believe. I would like to have seen Ben Affleck get his own R-rated Batman movie because I thought as a Batman he actually stood up really, really well. He was different enough to the Chris Nolan Batmans, and I think in that sort of like new universe with Superman and Wonder Woman, I thought he held his own. Certainly better than he did as Daredevil. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'd love to see. I really would love to see the DC universe get its thumb out of its ass and fix it. I mean, it's the animated series and the TV series for various DC properties are actually way better than the movies right now. Titans is on HBO Max. Doom Patrol is on HBO Max. They're ones I came late to, thoroughly enjoying. Um, what I'd love to see is Constantine. I would love to see John Constantine get his own show on HBO or HBO Max with swearing and violence and nudity and all sorts of gory, horrific stuff. Matt Ryan coming back as Constantine, that would be fantastic. Anyway, um, somebody's saying that they're making a sequel to the Keanu Reeves Constantine. No, no, thanks. Again, Keanu's untouchable, but I don't need to see his John Constantine anymore. Matt Ryan is a great Constantine. He really is. Um, all right. Okay, yeah. Anyway, wow, we're up to 18 viewers now. You people, you turn up late. I mean, I've been going for 47 minutes. I'm out of stuff. I've babbled along, but I'm on the road to affiliate status. I have a lot of followers, which is great. Thank you to everybody who's followed me. You humble me, and thank you to everybody who's tuning in. I'm actually going to take some questions now. So let's sit and have some questions. And I'm going to go Windstrap Dragon because it's right there. Am I watching The Expanse? Started watching The Expanse. Bored me stupid after 3 episodes. All of them are on Amazon Prime over here. And look, we got all the streaming services. All right. Yes, we will talk right bad. Yeah, I have not been able to get into The Expanse. Just bored me. A little too miserable. But then it's kind of struck me as kind of like Babylon 5, Deep Space 5 esque kind of thing, and neither of those things really, really floated my particular boat. Yeah, so that's my It's just I think the problem is there's so many choices with regards to what I can watch right now, and there's a lot of stuff I'm catching up on. Because obviously we cut the cable and we went straight to streaming. We have YouTube TV for the channels and stuff, but we got rid of a bunch of things. And for the longest time, we didn't actually have a lot of we didn't have a lot of the TV channels. But yeah, Expanse. I get I have a 4 episode rule. If it doesn't pull me in after 4 episodes, it's the same as in video games. 4 hour rule. If your game doesn't pull me in after 4 hours, I'm uninstalling the motherfucker. And if your show doesn't pull me in after 4 hours, I'm not watching it. Sorry. Oh, okay. All right. Raypad TV. First of all, let's talk. All right. He wants to talk. Did you see the Man United score? Jesus. Before I came online, I saw the update, and Southampton had a man sent off, and Man United were winning 6-0. Jeez, crazy. Yes, Sunday, Liverpool take on Manchester City. It's the reigning champions against the champions the season before. Manchester City in a rich vein of form right now. I think that's 12 games on the bounce winning. It was they're playing really, really well. Thankfully, my boys, Liverpool FC, we found some form over the last two games. We've gone down to London. We've beaten both West Ham and Spurs by 3-1. We have signed two centre backs, which is just as well because all of our main centre backs are now out for the season. So we it looks like we're going to have a couple of new players in the squad. So Ray wants to know if we want to have a bet. Well, I'm not gonna bet because I have no money. Um, but I am going to say I'm going to say 3-1 to Liverpool on Sunday, mate. 3-1 to Liverpool. It was 9-0 at full time. Fucking hell! How many people they have sent off? Jesus. We just sent them Takumi Minamino. Perhaps we should have sent them some of our non-existent croc defenders. Wow. Okay. All right. Next question. Somebody get Resident Evil, the Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 8. To be honest, it looks the creepy lady. Everybody's spooging over her. Good luck to you. I'm beyond Capcom. I'm just over Capcom. I've tried liking their games for a while, but it's always the same game stuck with a slightly different remix of levels or rehash of characters, and it just leaves me cold. It leaves me cold. Do not diss Shaqiri. Let me remind you about that second goal against West Ham. You know we're going to be twatting you left, right, and center next Sunday. Sorry, I love this. This is great. Right. So yes, Resident Evil. I haven't really enjoyed Resident Evil in such a long time. When people, people were excited about the remix, the remaster of Resident Evil 1 and 2, and great, more power to you. It leaves me cold. I I've I went through a period in my life in the 90s where I really loved Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid, a lot of classic Nintendo stuff. I was in my mid to late 20s, and I had Super NES, and then I had N64, and I had a PS1, and I just kind of grew out of them. And I mean, as I got older, I started wanting different things from my games. And I'm not saying grow out of it in the they're immature and they're childish. They're not at all. They appeal to people, and more power to. I'm not criticizing the games. I'm not criticizing the fans. If people still get that tingle at the back of their neck and that thrill when they know that there's a new Resident Evil game coming, or Mega Man, or Super Street Fighter X 5 Turbo versus X-Men's knickers. More power to you. Great. I'm happy. I'm genuinely happy for you. The days of me criticizing people for liking a certain game, unless that game is shit, those days are actually over. I'm not going to be. I don't want to be that guy anymore. I don't want to be the guy who is. Oh well, I'm just going to be a gaming snob as well because you are playing this and you're obviously an idiot. I mean, I could spend a month of Sundays if I wanted to. If I wanted to be that guy again. I mean, just critiquing games like Fortnite. But I've no business doing it because I played it. I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. But so many people get a lot of joy out of it and really manage to, get the most out of those games. Same with Super, was it Brawl Brothers on the Switch? That friggin' island game on the Switch. What's it called? Hang on. Animal Crossing. See, look, I have a Switch and I have Animal Crossing. I haven't used this Switch in a very long time. I got all my little consoles back here. And Animal Crossing, I bought it because I had a little bit of extra money, and I wanted to give it a try because so many people loved it. And I will say about Animal Crossing now what I said about the 3DS version when it was released. It's a fucking Facebook game. I mean, literally anybody who was in the beginning of Facebook and had Farmville, it's that with a better user interface. I mean, if I am going to do things like tidy up my garden, redecorate my house, you know, buy rugs and stuff like that. I'm going to do what most people do in real life. If it comes to gardening or redecorating, I'm going to pay somebody to do it for me. And you can't do that in Animal Crossing. You have to do it yourself. And if it comes to buying rugs and furniture and stuff like that, I'm just going to defer to the wife because she's the one with the taste in this relationship. I mean, hey, she married me. She must have amazing taste. But yeah, I just so anyway, to do again, because I digressed like I always tend to do. I'm down to 11 viewers. This is great. Let's see if I can break 9 viewers. 2 people log off. Let's yeah, I'm not gonna diss or attack people for liking those games. They bring pleasure to people, so that's great. If you like a game that's a total bag of shit, though, yeah, I'm coming for you. All right. Boom. I haven't seen the Liverpool documentary. It's on my to-do list. Where's Messi going to end up? City up here. Messi's going to end up in jail for tax evasion. The Spanish authorities are going over that contract with a fine tooth comb. $500 million he's got out of Barcelona so far. And I bet you he hasn't paid much tax on it. All right. Anybody else got any more questions? Thank you for the new followers, by the way. Newbie1 Kenobi and register subscriber for Easy Allies. Oh, I love the Easy Allies crew, as always. Oh, we're down to 11. We might just might get down to 9 before the end. And I've actually gone over with regards to my my allotted streaming time. What's the atomic weight of cobalt? 42. Oh, no, that's just the answer to everything. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask anybody got one last question. Let's see if we can make it to a round hour. Anybody going once, going twice? Okay. Well, my throat didn't get sore this time. I didn't cough up a lung, which is good. Have I seen Wonder Woman 2? You need to, when this gets put up on the page, you need to scroll back because yes, Jedi Fallen Order. I thought I discussed this in the past. Jedi Fallen Order is some of the best writing in the Star Wars universe, with some of the best, most fleshed out characters and some great vocal performances. Unfortunately, it's attached to a game that was nowhere near as good as the reviews pegged it to be. The game had so many cheap gameplay mechanics. It padded its longevity by making you double back 3, 4, 5 times on any particular level. A lot of the levels were basically just reskins of each other. Yeah, it was a game that did not deserve the Metacritic that it got, but it was a waste of wonderful writing and wonderful storylines and wonderfully acted characters, because they were great. They were certainly better than, and I think I said this before, but they're certainly better than any of the last 3 Star Wars movies. And yeah, I really did not like the game at all. And I finished the game. I did complete the game. So I am qualified to say that I thought it sucked testes. All right, one last question. And that one is from registered subscriber for Easy Allies. Do I think Doctor Who has to be played by a British person? Yes, I do. James Bond, Harry Potter, Doctor Who, quintessentially British. That's it. Has to be. I would love for us to have a frigging Welsh Doctor Who, considering we've been making the reboot in Wales for the longest time, and we've had 2 Scots, 2 English, 3 English now, actually, if you count the Doctor 13. Yeah, so I'd love to see. I'd like to see Rhys Evans. Have you ever watched Notting Hill? He was the guy who played Spike, the roommate. I think he'd make a great Doctor. He's certainly grown up a little now, but yes, I recommend him. Tom Ellis for Doctor Who, no, but he'd make a great Master. Okay, No Steve Buscemi as Doctor Who. No, sorry. You have to have a British regional accent. It's time to have some Welsh ones. Yes, I can't wait for more Lucifer too. That's one of the beauties of being in LA. It gets filmed all around here. In fact, my friend works at a hotel down in Long Beach, and they were recently shooting there for the next batch of series, the next batch of episodes, and then they got shut down because somebody caught COVID on the set. Anyway, thank you so much. Back up to 15 viewers. This is fun. This is a lot of work. I am. You'll check the schedule. I'm supposed to come back tomorrow night to talk about tomorrow afternoon, same place, same time, and talk about a few of my favorite things. And that is basically, I want to talk about older games I used to play, movies, TV shows, and just really just focus on those particular things. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it tomorrow or not. Keep an eye on the schedule. It might be on the schedule. It might move by a week or two because I am going to have to type up a little bit more and do some research on that sort of stuff. Because it's all very good, well and good me having an outline and waffling and blah 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 and interacting with you, but I'd like to give you guys some actual value. Somebody cough. What was that? Did I just cough? Oh. Anyway, welcome to the craziness. It's fucking crazy. This is great. This is the next best thing to actually sitting in a pub with you guys and having a beer or a scotch or having a glass of white wine or whatever your tipple of choice is. Raypad, yes, we know the Sound of Music. Julie Andrews for the win. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm out. I will talk to you soon. Maybe tomorrow. If not, I'll be back on Friday. 2:00 Pacific. Oh, look at that. Wrong side. Look at that. See, I've got my. Oh, and by the way, I am thinking of starting a poll. Who's got the best pandemic hair, me or Michael Pachter? Check out the Pachter Factor on Sifted. Take a look at Mike's hair. Send him a message. Tell him that I love him. But some of us are rocking slightly better hair in this pandemic. I think I'm kicking its ass. And on that one, you have a great, great day, everybody. Either see you tomorrow or on Friday. Depends on how much work I can do. Cheers.